Welcome to the explanation video for the Snake Challenge 6 project. We're going to explain here how to restart your game depending on an out of bounds type of error. So we have these lights here that we've used for the past few projects, and if it goes out of bounds we want to restart the game, basically reset it to start there at the middle. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing, and this is the key to what we're going to be trying out right here. So this if statement. This if statement is going to check whether we have gone out of bounds, and we do that by comparing or checking where this nx and ny are. Nx means like the new x. Really it's the position x of the first element in the array. Alright, so we have, if nx is greater or equal to a number, we're going to have to figure out a number that will be able to represent this this variable. So one option that we could do is to do this. Let's comment this out, and this is one way to find out what nx is. Alright, so we're going to do console.log, and we're going to print out our nx. Alright, and let's say we're going to put, so nx is, let's just add that, console dot log, and y is, okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of find out using the console what those values are. So it's going to happen really rapidly because this paint function is happening every 150 milliseconds. Okay, so let's save that. Let's come to this version and let's open the console. Alright, now let's refresh the page. You can see that this is printing really rapidly. Right now nx is 6 and ny is 4, and you can see them change. Remember, we're changing these values. So when we're here at the very top, nx and ny are 0. Okay? Now when we come all the way out here, nx is 9 and ny is 0. And then if we move out of bounds, then nx is 10. So this is always a good idea, to be able to find out what your values are, is to console log these type of values. Okay, so let's start with these this top border and this left border. So these are going to be the easiest because right here it's the nx and the ny are 0. So if the nx is basically less than 0, or the ny, if you see this here at the bottom in the console, the ny is 0, but if we go up here it goes to -1. That's where we want it to restart. Okay, and then the same thing over here if the nx is equal to -1. Okay, so let's comment this part out right now. Open this back up, and let's see, if nx is less than 0, that's what we said, or we use the logical or, nx or ny is less than 0. Okay. So if those two conditions are met, then we know we're out of bounds in this one and this one. Alright, because this is what it's printing for us. So let's see what this looks like, and we can keep our console logs there so we can just double check that we're doing it right. Okay, we have a 6 and a 4, and we're moving over. Okay, now we're at 0, 0. Now let's just step out of bounds with the Y. Alright, so did you see that? It went negative for 1 second, and then it restarted. Okay, and now let's try the X. We're at 0 with X. Boom, we went negative and restarted. Okay, so this next one, we want to check these borders over here. So let's work on the right border first. This one's going to be a little bit easier. So we see if our NX equals 10, then we're out of bounds. Another way to say that is if NX is greater or equal to 10, then we know that we're way over here. So I'm just continually going, and it's at 10 that we finally come back. Okay? So if it's greater or equal to 10, then we want to restart. If our NX is greater or equal to 10. Alright, let's try that out, see what happens here. There we go, so we're at 9, and then we go to 10, and it restarts. Okay, now the only border that we haven't done is this bottom border. We can go all the way down into it. So one option is, we see right here when we're at the border, we're at NY of 7. So we could do, when NY is less than, or is greater than or equal to 8, because if it's on this spot, then we want to restart. Or we could do if NY is greater or equal to, or we could do NY plus 2. So if we did NY plus 2, we'd be at right here at 9. Okay, and then here at 10, we would be using the same idea as this one right here. So you'll see why that's a little important in a moment. So right now let's do if NY, well let me show you what I mean right here. So NY plus 2. Okay, I'm just going to show you what those values are. Alright, NY plus 2 is 6, and then right here we're at 9. Notice if we're here at the corner, we're at 9, 9. Alright, NX is 9, and NY plus 2 is 9. Alright, that means if we go out of bounds, if we get a 10 on either side, we should be going out of bounds. Okay, so let's do that. Or if NY plus 2 is greater or equal to 10. Alright, so those should be all of our borders. So we have this one, and then the bottom one is working as well. So we actually want to generalize this because of the following reason. Right now we have these cells are painted with a cell width. So we never want to hard code this in. The zeros we can, because it will always be 0 on the top and the left corner. corner. But these 10s can change depending on the cell width. Now, let me show you what I mean. We have a cell width of 45. Let's just do a cell width of 40 now. Okay. Restart. Now, the squares are a little bit smaller, just 5 pixels smaller. And you see, if I get even kind of close, then we're having a problem. Okay, right here's still fine because this is 0, 0. You see that? 0, 0, and y plus 2 is still that. But if we get close, kind of, if we get within a little bit, we're still off. So we need to find a way to generalize this a little bit. And the way that we can do that is you'll have to do a little bit of math, but basically this width is 450 pixels wide, alright, and the height is 450 pixels wide as tall. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the height and divide it by however many squares we have. In fact, if you notice, with the cell width of 45, and right here we have 10, so if the width is 550 divided by the cell width of 45, that equals 10. Alright? So that's the same thing as the height divided by the cell width, and in this case it equals 10. If cell width changes, then it still equals 10. If the height changes, it still equals 10, or it still equals however many squares there are within this this canvas. Okay, so that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to replace, let's see, the nx is the width, so this one we're going to replace with height, and this one we can replace with width. It doesn't make a huge difference because we have a square right now. Let's see what happens. Now let's go back to the size of 40 for the cell width. Okay, so we can get a little bit closer, and then right when we go out, we know that it stops. Okay, so there you go. That's that is how we implement challenge 6. We'll see you in the next challenge. The next challenge is a really fun one. We're going to be talking about getting random numbers and getting some random number generators going on. So best of luck. We'll see you at the next challenge.